What's the good word, y'all? It's your boy DKB here. So the New York Jets are at it again. We're looking at potentially another backup quarterback option. So it looks like we have a private meeting and a workout schedule with Purdue quarterback Aidan O'Connell. So there's not a whole lot to his story. Kind of a blue-collar guy. Walked on to Purdue, took him a couple years to try to see the field, was able to beat out two other quarterbacks to finally get a start. His junior year, he finally had a pretty solid amount of success, which would have been the 2021 season. And then we look at his 2022 season. It's not quite as strong. Some mistakes, some forced, throws. Just not as consistent as what you see out of his 2021 season. But overall, let's talk about what he brings to the table real quick so we can see what the interest may be, which, speaking of interest, he's actually been met with quite a few times, and he's had meetings with a few other teams already, Saints, Jets, Packers. I think he has the Dolphins and 3 or 4 other teams scheduled over the next week or two as well. So, definitely a guy to keep an eye on. So let's go ahead and dive into it. As mentioned, he had a much better 2021 season than he did 2022. Just couldn't find the same level of consistency. Things overall just wasn't there. It had the need or the feel of a guy that was pressing to demonstrate that he, was capable and ready to take that next leap. So another issue that's factored into that as well for the people that really just tend to go by the box scores and the analytics is the fact that he was kind of undermined by quite a few drops by his weapons in that Purdue offense. So just something to be aware of. But Purdue has produced a pretty solid potential long-term backup quarterback option. I mean, he's operated a pro-style offense for essentially 3 years now, a handful of games in 2019 or 2020, then kind of that breakout year in 2021, and then 2022, not a smashing success, but still capable of being looked at as a backup quarterback option. So definitely good enough. Now, what he's bringing to the table are some things like good ball placement, and he's going to optimally be used in a role, or at least in an offensive scheme that prioritizes a quick timing offense and yards after catch. And lo and behold, Nathaniel Hackett and this New York Jets offense is going to be operating under those two same principles. Now, with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, things are going to look a lot different, but in general, the West Coast scheme offense, those are going to be your two major principles. Timing offense, short, quick passes, taking your chances in the deep intermediate areas, but generally you're going to look at yards after catch and a short field attack timed offense in order to keep pressure off your quarterback. And this is a role that will suit Aidan O'Connell very, very well. So there is a lack of mobility there. He's not going to be able to go out and make plays by his own. He's not even generally going to be capable of utilizing his legs to get himself out of trouble a lot, as well as using that as a way to kind of hurt defenses. So that has to be factored into it. He is much more of your old school pocket passer. Again, going to be most effective in the short and intermediate field. That's because his arm strength, from what I found out, generally teams are rating it somewhere between average to just below average. So he has just enough juice to get what you need done in the short and intermediate field range, as I said. But in the deep passing field, he's going to struggle. I think he connected on something like 22.9% of his deep field passes in 2022. So don't look for that to be a huge part of what he does if he ever needs to see the field for your team. Offensive-wise, quick timing offense, yards after the catch. Essentially, he's going to be relegated to a game manager role for any team that is seriously looking at him to develop and become a long-term backup quarterback option. But this is definitely a lot better of an option than the only other quarterback, at least I'm aware of, that we looked at. And I want to say his name was Holton Ahlers, a quarterback out of East Carolina. So the New York Jets are doing their due diligence. I do like this quarterback a lot better than Ahlers, although he's not quite as as strong as a fit, but he kind of reminds me actually a lot of like a Brock Purdy in terms of watching him being able to go out there and run an offense. Now, Brock Purdy, much different. I don't want people to run with that and go crazy, but he can come in for a handful of games if needed and go out there and provide a successful offense for you, at least from what I've seen and the multiple scouting reports that I checked out. And to wrap things up, we'll see if he even falls to us, right? Draft status wise, I've seen that he's projected to be anywhere from a mid to late day 3 pick. On the high end, we're talking about round 5. On the low end, we're talking about something like an undrafted free agent, priority free agent situation. So we'll see if the Jets end up pulling the trigger on a guy like this, if he does fall completely out of the draft, considering we don't have a 7th round pick. I don't believe we have a 6th anymore either, but that might not be true. I don't know about the 6th round pick part. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. The New York Jets looking at backup quarterback options, at least for the long term. Does say a bit much considering we are looking at Zach Wilson as the number 2, but maybe they are still considering him the long-term future starting quarterback option. So Aidan O'Connell, potentially a backup quarterback in development for us. And I appreciate you guys. Check out the comments and see you again. Peace.